All right. Welcome to the show, the podcast of all podcasts. Get it off your chest. How y'all living? How y'all doing? It's a great Saturday. It's a great day. First and foremost, like we always do, all praises due to the Most High. We survived this week, no matter how rough this week was. We survived it. We here. So we're gonna jump right into it. Get it off the chest. Before I get off my chest, what I want to talk about as far as my topics, just want to touch on a little bit of what I discussed last week on last week's episode about Atlanta Medical Center and the closing of it, or WellStar Atlanta Medical Center and the closing of that particular hospital in this community. They actually been doing a couple of rallies at the hospital. And so when I tell you that we all in about this, I really mean that we all in. So my mother actually went down to the rally this week. She spoke to a few people. They wanted to put on TV. She said, "No, nah, she didn't want to go on TV." So I just want to show y'all a little visual of what's going on. So they interviewed my moms, and this is her quote right here. I want to put it up where everybody can see it. As soon as that light, where circle that right there. I don't know if everybody can see that. I can get a little closer. A little closer. And boom. Instagram, I'm coming to y'all too. I want y'all to see what's shady. What she say? My baby boy was born down now. It ain't right. Nobody thinks this is right about closing it. Mom said, I'm going down there to show my support. So I just want to just tell y'all, man, like this is for real. November the 1st, they talking about closing this thing down. All right. So if anybody know anybody that can help support, we don't want this building to close. We don't need this building to close. So I just wanted to just touch on that a little bit because we were just talking about it. So that leads into what I want to get off my chest, which is a little bit of voting laws, a little bit about voting laws, what's going on in Georgia. We touched on that a little bit too last episode as well with my man, Mr. Harold Sanders. Now, the voting laws here in Georgia. So what I want to speak on is just, it might be some people out there who's not into politics, but they trying to see what's going on. They can hear that there's a lot of noise going on, and they can hear that something don't sound right. They can probably see that something don't look right when it comes to politics in the state of Georgia. I'm speaking on this because the midterm elections are coming up in November, ladies and gentlemen. What that means is people are going to be voting for the House and the Senate. So I'm going to try to break it down in just, some terms. If it's somebody like myself, who I used to be, I wasn't never thinking about voting. When you living in the streets and that's all you know is street money and that attitude, last thing you're thinking about voting. And that's just who I was, But now, as you evolve and as I evolve, I'm like, it's kind of important, especially the way I see them trying to play things here in the state of Georgia when it comes to voting. So first thing, this Georgia law that they've come up with, this new Georgia law, what it has done is reduce the number of ballot drop boxes as far as access into the places where people can use them the most. And the people that use most of the ballot drop boxes are in our community, the Black and brown community. As far as I see, that's who it's affecting. This new law is going to affect. So we're going to dig in a little bit, all right? So this new law, so it stems from a 2020 election. Now, I know everybody know about the 2020 election. We still talking about it now. A lot of people still talking about it now. The former president is basically saying it was stolen from him. Okay. So what you need to understand about that is ever since the 2020 election, he placed a lot of people in a lot of positions that can enable him and his story of, he won the presidency when he didn't. If you follow what I'm saying, he's put a lot of people in a lot of places, especially Secretary of State. What do you mean by that, Quincy, when I say that? Secretary of State is the one that controls the vote, basically. That's the one that can say yay or nay on all these votes. Give you an example. He tried Georgia like that. He called and said, "Hey, I need 11,000 and some change of the votes." All right. He trying to get the Secretary of State to say, "Okay, cool. Yes, I have these for you, sir." And that would have flipped. Well, not flipped. That would have kept Georgia red. It flipped Georgia into blue. So that's now. So that's what I mean by he's putting a lot of people in a lot of positions to where he can achieve his goal from 2020. So now we're going to talk about the 4 counties that they mainly going to affect. All right, that's Fulton County, that's Gwinnett County. Who else? Cobb County and DeKalb County. So again, Fulton County, Gwinnett County, Cobb County, and DeKalb County. So usually, we're going to say in 2020, those ballot boxes, they were open to be able to be used 7 days a week, around the clock, up until election day. All right? I'm going to say that again for people who might not understand. Ballot boxes were used in 2020, 24/7, 7 days a week, to drop off your vote. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democratic, Independent. They're there for you to be able to vote. And they were there because, you remember in 2020, we had a pandemic going on. So they brought in all these ballot boxes to have people to vote safely. Because at that time, nobody knew what the hell was going on. We got COVID-19 running around rapid, but they still want people to come out and vote. It was a voting year. So what they do, hey, we're going to send these ballot boxes down there. Y'all use them safely, count the vote like that, all right? So that was the game plan, and that's what they did. And I got some numbers for y'all, all right? I like to deal with these numbers. So these numbers came by way of NPR, WABE, and the Georgia Public Broadcast Television. All right. Now, more than 550,000 voters who cast their ballots using the ballot box for the state in 2020 election, like I said, they all lived in those 4 counties: Fulton, DeKalb, Gwinnett, and Cobb. 50%, just about 50% of those voters are Black and brown. Now, again, most of those ballot boxes were in those 4 counties: Fulton, Cobb, DeKalb, and Gwinnett. Over 50% of the voters are Black and brown. So, under this new law, this is what's going to happen. The number of these ballot boxes are dropping from 107 to 25. All right? I want y'all to hear me again. These ballot boxes they have dropped from 107 ballot boxes to 25 in all 4 counties. Not Fulton County is separate. No, it's not separate. All 4. We splitting all 4 of these. Okay? Y'all follow me so far? So, for me, I think it's to discourage people from voting. One of the reasons why I say that is because they did pass a law to where if you're standing in line, because last time for the election, there was a long line. People were waiting for a long time because of what was going on with the pandemic and everything. You had people being just nice human beings and would like to bring water and snacks while they wait in the line. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't live in Georgia or Atlanta, that is a crime now. You cannot go and give people water or snacks while they're waiting in line. It is a crime. Okay? I want y'all to research what I'm telling you so you can, you know this on your own. All right? Don't go up there trying to get nobody no water, no food as much as we would like to, because they doing their civic duty and they standing there for a long time, and it might be hot because this weather down here in November, it can still be warm. We flip-flop with weather down here in Georgia. I'm sure everybody know that. So that's something I want people to make sure y'all pay attention to now. So some of these numbers right here. We say more than 90% of the voters who saw an increase in their travel time to a drop box, they live in the cities and suburbs, which are home to most of the minority voters. And they mostly vote heavily Democratic. Now, on that part right there, for me now, I'm neither one, man. I'm just got to be honest. I'm neither one. Neither party has really shown me anything. Neither party has really shown me where they can really help me and my situation and people that are like me, substantially. I mean, let's be honest, while we're talking about these politics. The last president we had, he had all those people. Now, he had a lot of people that voted for him. Biden just had more. But the majority of those people were not corporate type of individuals. And I'm saying that is because once he became president, he gave the biggest tax break to corporations. So millionaires and billionaires got a hell of a tax break when he was president. Not us. And when I say us, I'm not necessarily talking about black people and brown people. If you just a regular individual that's just working, everyday gig and you just trying to make it, that's you. No matter what color you are. You're not a super rich millionaire. You didn't get that tax break when he was president. So let's be clear on that, all right? So like I say, me, myself, I stand on some independent type of shit. I think I know that's where I am. Because I can look and see what's going on right now with our presidency, and I still don't feel anything, that's coming towards, us. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's millions of dollars being shipped to Ukraine, millions. I'm gonna say that probably every episode until we get something fixed over here in our community. How? You got all that money to send over there, and brown water is coming out of Jackson, Mississippi. Okay? So I'm gonna repeat it. I'm gonna speak on it because it's real. So, some more numbers here. NPR, WABE, Georgia Public Broadcast, they compiled all these drop boxes and the usage data from locations by manually reviewing more than 9,000 collection forms from drop boxes used in the 2020 presidential election. Now, some of these poll workers also, make sure, poll workers documented the number of ballots deposited into 295 drop boxes across the state daily. So this was done every day up until election day. That's a lot of votes to, continue to count. So what's crazy about that is the number of people hasn't changed or reduced dramatically at all, if they reduce, period. So if you've taken away those ballot boxes now, then how are people still going to be able to cast their vote? I mean, just on a minimum scale, if a person had a drop box around the corner, now minimum time is 25 minutes to get to where it's going, or to where you're going to cast your ballot at that particular drop box. It's another thing about these ballot drop boxes. This was the first time that Georgia participated in this whole ballot drop box. And again, it was because of the safety issue. All right? The safety issue because of what was going on with COVID-19 during that time. They wanted to make sure everybody was safe. So that's why it was the first time being used. Here in the state of Georgia. But I want to say where Oregon, Washington, and Colorado, they was already using them before the pandemic. So it was already a tried and true method. This wasn't nothing new out of nowhere. It was just new to the state of Georgia, but it worked. Then got to take my word for it. It was a Republican who was in charge of the voting system here in the state of Georgia. And he told the former president, basically, no, man, I can't do that. I can't do what you're asking me to do. You're asking me to just look democracy a whole nother way. I can't even, that just would have been, that's stealing. That's basically stealing. He wanted him to steal the votes and give them to the former president. So that's why I say those ballot drop boxes, it's not nothing new all over the board. It just was new in the state of Georgia. So things turned after what the former president was defeated. All right. So a lot of his allies here in the state of Georgia, they equated all those drop boxes to fraud. So what I'm saying is the former president got friends here in the state of Georgia. He got friends everywhere. We know this. I'm speaking on Georgia because it's my home. And people that are listening to most on right now, they live in Georgia. So I'm listening. They don't. I just want to know what's going on in my city, in my state. So the former president got a lot of friends here in the state of Georgia, and that's why these laws are being able to be passed, because they're with him. They're with his conversation. They're with how he wants to take this. So it's easy for them to pass these laws. I mean, it doesn't sound inhumane to anyone out there listening to the world that you're going to charge somebody with a crime if they come and give somebody water and snacks while they waiting in line to vote, to do their civic duty. Because you got to remember, the way that they handling this, they all still took an oath. They all took an oath to be a politician. And it was to uphold the Constitution. Now, whether or not some of us care about the Constitution, that's a whole nother story, because there's some people they don't care about that because they're not winning in this country. And they just struggled all their life, but they still got to bow down to the other part. So some people don't care about that. But at the same time, we do live here. This is where we reside. So we kind of got to have to play the game the way it's being shown to us. But you just have to find your way you can maneuver. Okay, you can maneuver through this and not be just on the hook every day, all day for the rest of your life. All right. So, like I said, he got allies, and some of those are the reason why some of this stuff has been passing. Okay. So I want to make sure that everybody understand about how these ballot boxes were working and how they're working now. We had numerous ballot boxes throughout the state of Georgia, and now we don't. That's basically how I'm trying to present it to y'all in layman's terms. We don't have them anymore. We got about 25. I just read y'all the numbers. About 25 ballot boxes, and they're on limited times, okay? This new law, I'm gonna give y'all the name of it. It's called Senate Bill 202. Again, this new law is called Senate Bill 202. You can go and Google this and get all the information that you can. So if you didn't hear me, again, Google this new law in the state of Georgia, Senate Bill 202. Research for yourself and see what's going on where you living. Things are happening right over our heads and we don't even know it because we steady in this. We steady being this right here. While laws are being passed right over our head. Ladies and gentlemen, we gotta pay a little bit more attention to what's going on around us. Trust me, I like to look into the phone and see what's shaking on videos and stuff like that too, but gotta be disciplined about doing that. If you're gonna spend time on stuff like that on your phone, then equally spend the same amount of time on learning what's going on around you. You know, don't just be caught up in just shenanigans on your phone. Because that's what a lot of it is. It's just a bunch of shenanigans to keep you glued into that piece of equipment. So you can't expand. You can't expand your mind by simply looking at videos all day long on these phones. People know that. If you say, I'll look at it for a little bit and then say, you know what, now I'm gonna take an hour and go over here and learn about myself. You'll be surprised how the time will decrease in the bullshit that you look at on your phone. Because you then got so interested to find out who you are and why you exist, and what's your purpose, things of that nature. That's where you need to be going. That's where you need to be headed. Okay? So the new law, like I said, Senate Bill 202, it requires all 159 counties to have at least one box, but no more than one per 100,000 voters. Man, that's fucking insane. That's insane. I'm gonna say this again so you can understand what I'm saying, all right? The new law, known as Senate Bill 202, it requires all 159 Georgia counties to have at least one box, but no more than one per 100,000 voters. That means these goddamn boxes are spread out. They spread the hell out now. Not only are they spread out, but they're limited. I'm gonna tell you the time. So instead of making them available outdoors like they were in 2020, they were available outdoors 24/7, 7 days a week. It's not the case anymore, ladies and gentlemen. So instead of that, the new drop boxes must be kept inside early voting locations with limited hours, 9 to 5. That's going to be problematic for voters with an inflexible schedule. Okay? So now, like I say, these new machines, they have to be at a secure location, which is an early voting location. So this is not at all locations, because all locations aren't early voting locations, ladies and gentlemen. So they're only going to be, so that means now you got to figure out, okay, well, if I want to vote, all right, so where's the early voting location so I can get to the drop box? Then you got to figure out, all right, so when is the location going to be closed? 9 to 5, man. 9 to 5. Limited hours now. They were 24/7, 365. But now, after the last election, you can only go limited hours of the day. Most people work past, man, I don't care if you get off at 4 o'clock. You got to get all your stuff together. You know, if you're working already, you got to go to the clock. You got to clock out. You know, you're probably going to talk with somebody before you leave out, walk to the car. That's if you're blessed to have transportation. Some people ain't got transportation, man. You know you asked out if you ain't got no transportation and you trying to go vote before 5 o'clock and you get off at 4. That's a wrap. So now what you do? Oh, I got to talk to my supervisor, see if I can maybe, take a day off. You can't afford to, though, can you? Not right now. A lot of people can't afford to take no day off. That's real, man. That's what's happening right now. So that's why I say I think it's a method to prevent a lot of people who look like me from voting. It wasn't no issue in the 2020 elections. Okay? I'm not saying that because I'm going for one person or another. It's just the facts, man. It's just the facts. But like I said, 9 to 5, that's a problem. And anybody else who, got time constraint, that's going to be a problem for anybody that's trying to vote. Because we came out in droves in 2020, man. We really came out in droves. I think it was the highest number of people that voted for any president ever. And I can tell you for a fact, I can't pull up the numbers yet, but I have the numbers for you soon. You know that. But I can tell you for a fact, even with last election in 2020, everybody still didn't come out and vote. Everybody still didn't come out and vote. You still had people like, man, it's like the lesser of two evils. I mean, this is just how some people feel, because I talk to these people every day. I live around these individuals. Some people just ain't feeling this whole voting thing because all their life they never received anything from the government in a helping sort of way, like real help, not food stamps and all. No, that's not real help. Real help is saying, hey, I'm gonna come into your community and I'm gonna help build infrastructure. That's real help. Cutting checks for a reason. Not just to cut a check and we're going to spend it to put the money right back in the economy. It's a difference between building infrastructure and a stimulus check. It's a difference. Y'all need to understand that. Stop going for any goddamn thing. They know we will. That's why they handle us the way they do. I mean, think about it. 25 drop boxes, one drop box per 100,000 voters. So if it's 100,000 people in this area, they all get that one box. And we gotta go to another area. Come on, man. And they limited on the time. You still think there's no coincidence behind it? You ain't gonna sit up here and make me not think that Atlanta Medical Center is a scapegoat for something. We might not know it right now, but you ain't finna sit up here and tell me that that hospital stood there all this time for over a century. I was born and I was blessed to be able to work there in the ICU department. Shout out to the ICU department over there at AMC. Some hard workers over there. Shout out to the medical field, period. And all the medical professionals that I've came across, that I've met, talked to, nothing but love for each and every one of y'all. We are a different breed of people. So to shut this place down, November the 1st, politics is involved. I don't know yet. I don't know why. I don't know how yet. But I'm going to find out. And I'm going to bring the answer to y'all. So everybody can be on the same page. And one thing about this Senate bill, no Democrats supported the bill. I do want to say that. No Democrats supported this bill. This was all Republicans. Some people might feel some kind of way. Man, why he talking about Republicans like that? Man, I'm just speaking the facts. I'm just speaking the facts. Okay? Do your own research and figure out what's going on in this country that you live in. Okay? That's something that we all need to be trying to figure out. What the hell is going on up there on the hill? What's going on up there on the hill? Because whatever goes on up there, it's a trickle-down effect. And it affects you. It affects me. We're the working class. It affects us. Whatever decision that they make up there on that hill, it affects us each and every time. If it's good for them, a lot of time it ain't good for us. You know? So I dib and dab into politics because I need to know what's going on in this country. I can't be blinded by the people that's running the show here. You understand? So I'm not speaking on this to sway anybody to be Republican, to be Democrat, to be independent. I'm not swaying anybody to be on no party. I just need y'all to understand that there's some things going on here that ain't right. That's what my topic is. There's some things going on here that just not right. And if you got some kind of common sense, then you can look and tell that some things just ain't right. Now, what's crazy is, with all this going on, this former president is trying to be president again. But he got so many open cases going on. Like, I mean, he got a lot of open cases going on. And the biggest one that stumps me and why he's not, arrested or behind bars or anything like that, you're dealing with classified information that you took from the Hill. And one of these, or I don't know how many forms, but some of these classified information forms are dealing with nukes, nuclear war type of shit. Now, I want y'all to hear me, man. This gentleman, who's no longer the president, has information on nuclear warheads. How? How does that happen? And this is the same gentleman that wants to be president again. So it's just a lot of shady things going on the Hill. And we need to figure out, why is there so many shady things going on up there? What can we do to at least try to stop it? Because, like I said, the trickle-down effect is not going to always be good for us whenever it's really good for them. I mean, think about it. In 2020, millionaires got richer. Billionaires got richer. The working class, they stayed the same or they dropped. How does that happen when everything is shut down? Research it for yourself, and you will see millionaires and billionaires got richer in the pandemic. They truly did. I mean, from sports teams on. And I can remember, it wasn't a lot of sports going on. It wasn't a lot of games being played because nobody could go anywhere. But somehow, like all 32 NFL teams, bankrolled. MLB, bankrolled. NBA, bankrolled. NHL, bankrolled. Millionaires and billionaires, bankrolled. Did you? I'm talking to you, that individual that's either looking at this show or listening at this show. Did you bankroll? That's the question you need to be asking yourself. Because a lot of other people did. When people were dying and sick and starving, these folks were bankrolling on our ass. So that's just something to think about, man. And I just wanted to touch a little Georgia politics on y'all today. Because it's important. It's imperative that y'all know what's going on. These elections are coming up in November. You think it's a coincidence that the hospital shut down in November? Huh? Come on, man. Come up off of some of that shit that you own and think about what's going on out here. Because I'm going to tell you like this. Like I say, I'm not either one. But if the Republicans take back the House and the Senate, say, man, you can cancel Christmas, man. You can cancel Christmas. Because they ain't going for it. These people have forgotten what the Constitution means. These people they literally lied their way into office now. Look at Arizona. Arizona was one of the states that almost got caught in that 2020 election bullshit. But he said, no, I'm not doing that. George Biden is the president. We certifying him, whoop the whoop, and that's that. Now, that same gentleman is no longer in office in Arizona. What does that mean, Quincy? I tell you what it means. If we have the same problem in Arizona as we did in 2020, where the numbers wasn't right and Trump talking this and talking that, and he tell, the Secretary of State, hey man, numbers look good to me. That person that's in office now in Arizona, he's going to agree with that same gentleman who's trying to be president. And he's going to flip those numbers. I'm telling you this because he's saying now that the president, though it was taken from him. Votes were stolen from Donald Trump, the ex-president. This is what the Secretary of State in Arizona is saying now. So he's already lined up. What I said earlier on in the show, how you put a lot of people in a lot of places, this is what I'm talking about. He got Arizona on lock. He got a lot of places on lock. Got a couple of places that's on lock, man, that he got to where them people will say whatever he wants them to say. Look at the judge down there in Florida handling this whole Mar-a-Lago case deal with these documents. She basically is giving him a one-way street to, yeah, you can get your stuff back, even though they're not his. I mean, but this is what I'm saying. He placed this particular judge in the federal position that she's in. He put her there. He appointed her there back then when he was president. Now he's reaping the benefits from doing that. Because what she said, well, I don't see why I don't see what's the big deal. That's basically what she's saying. She don't see what the big deal is. So she's handing it over to a special master. This is an individual who's going to look at all the documents, and basically he's going to say whether or not those documents stay with the government or they go to Trump. But in reality, when you really look at it, those are not his documents. Okay? The National Archives Reserve keeps all paperwork from when you were president. They keep all of that paper, anything. Now, some of the stuff you allowed to take home, like memorabilia, depending on what it is. But come on, man. Come on, man. Classified documents, man. You ain't got to be involved in no politics at all to know this gentleman shouldn't have classified documents if he's no longer the president of the United States. They only have one president at a time. That's why they do that whole movement. One loses, the next one come in. They transfer peacefully, supposed to be. We didn't have a peaceful transfer the last time. Okay? Think about it. January 6th tell you right there. It wasn't peaceful at all. And while we shucking and jiving and, we want to wear all this Gucci this, and trust me, man, I tell you all the time, I like to get fly too. Yeah, it's in me. But at the same time, man, it's a civil war brewing. It's people that so die hard for this ex-president, they are literally talking about bringing a civil war upon the government. It's going to be some people out there that look like me, and they're going to be in the club somewhere, and they're going to hear the news that it's fighting going all over the country. Because there's some people out here that's ready to go to war for this guy. I mean, it's that serious, people. It's just that serious. So I just want everybody to be cautious. I want everybody to be understanding of what's going on and be careful. Because there's some people out there that's ready to do harm for this guy, man. So just be on your P's and Q's, man, about what's happening around you while you living over here. I can see if you now for some of y'all that listening to the show and you don't live in this country, y'all can understand. You ain't worried about it. You just concerned and you confused on how such a great country like the United States is. Well, that's because they took it from the very beginning. So you reaping what you sowed. So that's just a little bit of Georgia politics I want to talk about. My next subject that I want to discuss, we're going to talk about this British monarchy and the Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, boy. So let's get into it, baby. Because some folks some people, even people that's my color, that look like me, don't understand why we just like, I'm not, okay, she passed. All right. So I'm going to break it down to you why some of us feel that way. Okay? I'm going to break this down to y'all. Queen Elizabeth and the British monarchy. So we're going to start like this. It was 1952, from 1952 to 1960. This is what was going on. We got a group of Africans out of Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. And, this touches me a little bit because I was blessed to be able to go to Nairobi, Kenya. I was blessed to be able to go to Africa. I think it was 2016. Shout out to my nephew, man, Karis Odom, Kyrie. That boy over there doing this thing, Zone 4 International. He actually got his own airplanes and he got his own cargo line and everything. He's flying cargo from Africa, Uganda to Great Britain, other countries and things like that. So I was blessed to go over there and see Africa firsthand for myself, And I remember when I first got there and they greeted me and was like, "Welcome home." And it hit me like, damn, that's real. This is home. So this stems from Nairobi, Kenya. All right. So there was a group called the Mau Mau Africans. All right. And this was the land of the freedom. What was it called? It was the Land and Freedom Movement. I want to repeat that. It's MAU, the Land and Freedom Movement. So about 1.5 million Africans, they were sent to these detention camps, okay, on the Queen's watch. She had an army, and I'll get into the reason why, all right? But we had 1.5 million Africans that were sent to detention camps by the Queen. Not only they were sent to these detention camps. Inside these detention camps, there was a picture of Queen Elizabeth in each and every one of these detention camps. All right? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is part of the colonization that was done by Great Britain in Africa. Nairobi, Kenya, to be exact. All right. Like I say now, in these camps, her picture was on the wall. Like, who else? Hitler. Y'all remember those camps? Concentration camps? Jews? His picture was on the wall over there, man. You understand? All right. Like I say, so the Mau Mau people, so they were vowing to break away from the British government. These people took an oath and everything amongst themselves. I want y'all to Google MAU after the show, which y'all get a chance. Check out these people, man. So they're trying to break away from the British government. Like I say, they took an oath. And the British monarchy, they got wind of it. All right, they got wind of it, had a lot of them killed, and shut down their whole plan. Like I say, this is from 1952 to 1960. They murdered, tortured, enslaved, starvation, so on and so forth. Sound familiar? But that was done, right? That was done to all the detainees in those camps. And the reason why that was done to those detainees in the camps, because their allegiance were to the Mau Mau people. You understand where I'm coming from? And all these people in these detention camps whose allegiance was to the Mau Mau people, the land and freedom movement. Great Britain saw this and did not want that to happen because they know they can really overpower them because they know who they truly are. So they had to bring the whole army, and ended up, changing some individuals' mind in that way. So yeah, 1963 is when they actually started to colonize them. So, but before that, there were it was a killing, and they called it the Hola Massacre. 11 detainees got killed, and it got out to the British Parliament. So these things, when I speak on this starvation, murder, and enslaved and all that, these things were happening outside of the British Parliament's knowledge. British Parliament, for those who don't know, is just like the government for Great Britain. Like how we have our government, our 3 executive branches and stuff like that. That's theirs for Great Britain. So basically, they were living their life however they live and just going about their life. And when it got out that 11 detainees were killed, that was a problem. That was a real big problem. It was in an uproar and everything like that. So the only thing that they did was tell the British Parliament that, hey, some minor officer went rogue, what have you. Basically, nothing to see here, folks. That was basically how they kicked it. So, but we now know that that's not the truth. Like I say, do your research. Do your research on it, and you'll see. So it wasn't the truth. All right. So we're gonna move on. So in 1952, the British government economy was shattered. The reason why it was shattered, ladies and gentlemen, after World War II, they had nothing. They had nothing. Not a dime. Pounds wasn't worth shit. And for those you don't know, pounds is what's equivalent to their money. Cash is for us. It's pounds over there. It wasn't worth nothing. Silver, they didn't have anything. They trying to recoup. They trying to rebuild. But how? How do you rebuild and get back into the big 3? The big 3, ladies and gentlemen, at the time, United States, Soviet Union, and Great Britain. But it wasn't the big 3 after World War II because Great Britain was broke. They had nothing. So, guess who came up with a plan to get back into the big three, man? You guessed it. And not only was it a plan, but it was on paper. It's called the Imperial Resurgence. I'm going to say that again. It's called the Imperial Resurgence. This is an actual plan that they put together for Great Britain to get back on their feet. How you ask, Quincy? You know I'm going to tell you. So the reason why Kenya was so important for the Queen was because of their tea and coffee export. You heard me? Because of their tea and coffee export. Big, big business. So think about this right quick, ladies and gentlemen. Great Britain broke after World War II. But we over here in Africa cooling. We kicking it. We straight. We so straight to where they came over there and robbed us. Took damn near everything. We ain't got nothing to do with that over there. You fought that war, you lost it all, that's on you. But nah, they couldn't accept that. So what do? You get it off the backs of others. Because that's what oppressors do. So how can you ask the oppressed to mourn the oppressor? One more time, man. How can you ask the oppressed people to mourn the oppressor? That's insane. So, like I said, that's how they first started to get back. Because you got to think, you got to pay back loans and all kind of stuff. War is expensive, man. War costs money. If you didn't know, if some of y'all didn't know, wars cost money. Look up how much Afghanistan war cost us. Billions, dog. Over 20, 21, 22 years, it cost us billions. The war over here in Ukraine, it's only been going on about 3-4 months, something like that. Hundreds of millions already. So wars cost money. But the Queen didn't have enough to where she can sustain herself and her government. So they came over and do what they do best, and they took. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they took. Right now, to this day, you got Asia, India, other countries. They want their jewelry back. They want them diamonds back. Now, I want to put something in perspective. Right now, to this day, these countries want their diamonds back. A few days ago, representative for Kenya, he spoke, basically said, burn in hell. So that tells you, if they speaking now because she's passed, that means she had a hold on this shit up until then. You understand what I'm saying? If they speaking on it now, because I ain't never heard nobody speak on this thing about it. Because I mean, I've heard about some of the stuff that she's done and her government has done, but not to the extent where people are talking about it now. Talking about, I want my diamonds back. I get me out of colonization. That means she had their foot on their neck all this time up until she passed, because they didn't say anything all this time. Not to the extent of what they're saying now. I'm sure there's probably been some stuff said that we just don't know about, but not to the level of what we're hearing now. So that alone should tell you something. This shit's still going on right now, while we're shucking and jiving all in our phones. Yes, Great Britain did that. They did that. So do your research. Find out the reason why some of us are making these comments about, well, we don't really care. That's okay. That's life. Some people take it a little further. They talking bad about it. I ain't got to do all that. I just don't care. I ain't got whatever. I got my own shit to be trying to figure out. Then what happened with the queen? You understand me? That's where I'm at with it. Love it or hate it, but that's where I'm at with it. I'm sticking to the facts, and the facts say this is what she did. Why? Because you was in a situation and your whole government crumbled. That's on you. But you couldn't accept that. You had to come over and take, and it wasn't just from Kenya. Mm-mm. Oh, she took from a lot of colonies, but even in Africa, country called Mongolia. I think I'm pronouncing it as close as I possibly can. Mongolia, but they're known for its rubber. If you know anything about rubber, rubber can be made. A lot of things can be made from rubber. Rubber is a huge resource out of Africa. She colonized them for the rubber, like she did the people of Nairobi, Kenya, for the tea and the cocoa. Okay. Also, tea and the coffee. I'm sorry, Kenya was tea and the coffee. I'm moving a little too fast. Ghana, country of Ghana, was the cocoa. She stripped them because they had the cocoa. See, all these resources, they're plentiful over in on the continent of Africa. Plentiful. Okay. More than enough. That alone should make you wonder, why is that continent so plentiful like that? Why does everybody always go over there to take all the resources? That's because it's something about that continent. It's something about those people. That's where you got to do your research. Get off this goddamn phone all the time. You understand? That's why. I mean, think about it. Look around. Right here, right now, they all over there in Africa and they're digging away. They're digging and they're taking. They're digging and they're taking. This is what's happening. Still to this day. But they keep us so distracted so we don't start fight the good fight. Because that's the good fight. You know, if we still have to, we got to start linking up with our own too, because it got out not too long ago. A lot of people from over there would tell their children how African Americans are over here, lazy, this, that, and the third. Then when they get over here, they're like, well, damn, I don't really see all that. You guys lazy folks, yeah, but some people over here really trying to get it. So there's a connection that's not there with our people over there because of what they've told their children. This is something that you can research. People who are grown now are telling the fact that when they were young, their parents would tell them, hey, when you go to the United States, don't deal with the African Americans. They're lazy. They just do drugs. They just sell drugs. They do this. They do that. That's what they were told by the Africans over there. Their parents telling them that. So they already prejudging us before they get here. Because if your mom and your father is telling you that, you kind of gonna believe that. That's just what it is. That's nature. You listen to your parents. You're not gonna say, hell no, mama, I don't believe that. Why would you? You don't know. You ain't got no proof. You don't know. Plus, those are your parents. Again, you're gonna listen to them because you feel like they're not gonna tell you nothing wrong. Well, we finding out now that that's not the case. These people are coming out now talking about, yeah, when I was younger, before I left to come over here, because a lot of them come over here to go to school and they become successful. I love it. I don't hate it. I love it. I dislike the fact that they prejudge us. That's what I don't like. So we got to get a connection with our own folk. That's how much behind the eight ball we are. We got to get a connection with our own folk. Then, all right, now can we sit down at the table and discuss how we can become one? Because truthfully, ladies and gentlemen, man, I talk a lot about my race because we're so far behind, but it's about being a human being first. It really is. It's about being a human being first, and I speak on that because I had to evolve because I was once an individual that just didn't give a fuck. I just didn't. If I was in the streets, and that's what it was. Because I knew, well, the police, they're not gonna look at me no different than the person I'm selling the drug to. And they didn't. They don't say, oh well, we'll treat you a little better because you selling the dope, not smoking it. Man, that ain't how this shit work. It didn't work like that. They didn't look at me no different. They still disrespected me. They still threatened me. One of my guests coming on in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna tell you, he was with me when they threatened us. You understand what I'm saying? This thing's so real, man. We have lost our connection. I mean, like my man Mr. Harold Sanders said last week on the episode, we are warriors, but we're killing our own kind. We're killing our own kind. That's how much of a warrior we are. Like that young brother who just passed, PNB. What is Ali?
PNB Rock.
PNB Rock. You just walk up in there like that, and you off him like that in front of his people. With his child with him. This is girl. Come on, man. Come on, man. This what we're doing? That's sad, man. That is sad. We have no conscience anymore. Or some of us. Some of us have no conscience. To walk in there, broad daylight, asking for his jury, you know he gonna say no. And you hit him anyway. You hit him anyway. And you still take it. Man dead or dying, you still take the jury? For what? What are you gonna do with it? Because what he paid for it, you can't get that. You're not gonna get what he paid for it. So if he paid in all 100 grand, watch, chain, pendant, you're not gonna get 100 grand for that. You're not gonna get nothing for that. Because his name might have been on it or something. I'm not sure, but the piece that he had on, I'm sure it didn't went worldwide on the web. So what you gonna do with it? What was that for? We gotta do better. We have to do better. We are in self-destruction mode. For what? Why are we in self-destruction mode when we are being destroyed right here by folks who just like, yo, we're gonna take whatever it is y'all got because I need it. And then flaunt it. Because whenever she went out somewhere on the top occasion, she put that hat on. And on that hat, one of our diamonds is on that hat. One of Asia diamonds is on that hat. Them people want that diamond back now. They asking for it back. That alone might be a revolution. It's so much going on out here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot of stuff going on, man. Revolutions popping up. Are you ready for the revolution if it comes your way? Because there's some people out here that's sick and tired of being sick and tired. And they ready. I ain't talking about my people. I'm going back to this civil war that's brewing. Think about this. Them people for the ex-president, they said they tired. They sick and tired. Of what? My question is of what? What you sick and tired of? Because I can look around for sure and tell you some stories about what I'm sick and tired of. And people that I know, they got some stories for real. What could y'all be tired of? His people, all his supporters. Because the Republicans right now, to get back into politics for a hot second, they actually are running the show. They shooting themselves in the foot on this abortion issue, but they actually running the show. It's to the point where they really can run away with the House and the Senate. But they shoot themselves in the foot though. Because you got one politician saying this about abortion issue, another one saying this. They can't get nothing right. They don't have a real policy on anything. You understand what I'm saying? It's so much going on. Just pay attention and see. All right. I just want to make sure everybody just stop and just pay attention and see what's happening, not only in this country but in this world. Get a worldly view on things, especially if you're my age or better. Even if you're not, you should just still have a worldly view on things. I don't like to ask somebody something about something that they should know about. That's a worldly view, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about them. I just think that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. Just like when my kids were young, they used to know the songs on the radio. I was their parent. You better know your goddamn multiplication, like you know that song. So in that fashion, just like how we might know what the hell going on with what is it, the Real Housewives or whatever, you know, these shows, you should know what's going on worldly as well. Don't be one-sided in the mind. That's self-destruction within itself. It is. They know it. If you only one-sided and it's just about this and whatever on the TV, you're self-destructing yourself. And you don't even realize it. They used to call the TV the idiot box when I was younger. Because they just say only idiots watch TV. Because there's nothing that's really on there. You know, that can enlighten you. I mean, think about it. Some of these shows, do they really enlighten you? I haven't really watched TV like TV. I'm either watching something on politics or sports, or a movie on Netflix or something like that. But just to sit there and just be watching TV, seeing what's on, I don't do that. And I be seeing some of the shows, you know, that they'll be advertising for, especially on BET. What the hell going on over there? I don't see nothing that enlighten us on that. It's just all drama filled. All drama filled. If you watching shit that's drama filled, your life is drama filled. I don't care what you say. If that's all you watch and partake in, your life is filled with drama as well. You just don't see it because you so lined up into what you watch that you don't even see that that's drama. So when you in it yourself, it just feels normal to you because you look at it every day. So this stuff that you look at every day filled with drama. Now you got drama in your life. You see no difference. You see no separation because that's a part of your life. Step away from it for a little bit. Step away from this drama shit for a little bit and see what's going on. Get you a worldly view. So I just wanted to, want to tap in on that, man, because all this, especially with this British monarch, when she took all those resources, everything happened on her watch. It was her government and it was her nation. It all happened on her watch. Now, if somebody want to make the argument of, well, she wasn't directly there, let me tell you something, man. When you the king or you the queen, nothing happened that you don't know about. Nothing. There's nothing happening that you don't know about, especially during these years. So just because she wasn't there per se, you think she don't know that her picture was hanging in these detention camps? You think she didn't sit up there and say, well, you can hang that one. I'll let you hang that one. Hey man, women ain't finna just let you take a picture of them and put it somewhere without them giving you your approval first. Homie. That ain't how this shit happened, man. So that fact alone lets me know that lady knew. She knew. Remember, they was broke. The British government had nothing going on. They were trying to get back into the big three. So they had to conjure up some shit. And that's what they came up with. On us. Again. And this wasn't in the slavery times, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't talking about picking cotton days. What was the year again? 1952 to 1960. Say, man, that was right around the corner, man. That was right around the corner, you dig? So I'm standing on that. So I want to just say, as far as politics in Georgia, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what color you are. If you ain't no super millionaire, it affects you. Find out what's going on with these voting laws. Do your part. Do your part. My thing is this. If this gentleman who's trying to run again off of a lie, what's gonna happen if he was to get it? How he gonna run it? How he really gonna handle it? That's a lot of power to have. You're the most powerful person in the world when you're the president. Just in case somebody didn't know that, who not really up on politics, when you are the president of the United States of America, you're the most important person in the world. You're the most dangerous person in the world. Because you got that thing where you can press that button. Others too. But it's something about the United States to where they don't want to really play with us. So that's why I say it can be dangerous depending on the individual who's at the helm. See, for me, I think the first time when he was doing it, he didn't have no clue of what that job entailed. So he was kind of doing it by, flying by the seat of his pants. But after it was over, or when it was about to be over, he started to realize, damn, this is a lot of power. I can do a lot. And he tried to get back in there to do, whatever his business is. To me, his business ain't the people. That's what I can say. His business ain't the people. The people didn't eat when he was president. Corporations ate. And they ate big. To the point where you'll see them numbers, man, and just be like, how? How could you do that to the working class? That's because once you get to that level, man, something that go out the window. That's why they kept saying, work. Need everybody to go back to work. We need everybody to go back to work. They don't stay rich if you ain't working. Okay? So that's a little bit of the politics I wanted to share with y'all. A little bit about this British monarchy I wanted to share with y'all on why some blacks and whites, because there's some whites and other races who don't like wrong is wrong, man. Wrong is wrong. And some folks just don't. Matter of fact, some of this information came from a white woman. Some people just do not like the fact of you just doing people any kind of way. And they're going to talk about you. And they're going to exploit that fact. So people like myself can learn about it and read about it. Because it ain't going to be on TV. It ain't going to be in that idiot box. It ain't going to be on Instagram. It ain't going to be on social media. I didn't get this information from social media at all. Let me say that again. None of this information that I got, that I shared with y'all today, came off of social media. Now, if I wanted to give y'all some information off of social media, it's plentiful. But what would it, how is it going to affect you? I'm not going to give y'all no bullshit. This ain't that type of podcast. All right? It's the real podcast for people with real issues. That's what we own. So Wanted to share that with y'all, man. We're gonna get into a little culture corner and then bless y'all, make sure y'all have a great weekend and everything like that, man. But I wanted to make sure we talk about that today. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. Culture corner going on in the city, going on in the A-Town, going on in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let y'all know what's going on, man. Today and tomorrow, man, we got the Atlanta R&B Food and Wine Festival. It's over in Old Fourth Ward. I passed by there today. It's a nice little crowd over there, y'all. Ali, nice over there, man. Yeah, nice little crowd over there, man. Atlanta R&B Food and Wine Festival. You can't go wrong with food and wine, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't go wrong with food and wine. And Old Fourth Ward, for those that you don't know, that's over there where Ponce City Market at. Actually, it's at the park in Old Fourth Ward that's directly behind Ponce City Market on North Avenue side, not Ponce side. Okay, so you gotta be going down North Avenue, and the park. If you're coming from Peachtree Street, and you're going down North Avenue, once you see Ponce City Market on your left, the park is on the right. You'll see everybody standing out there. That's today and tomorrow. Go on over there and get you some food and wine, man. Have a good time. Enjoy life. What we got next? Oh, Sipping Safari. This sounded dope. Sipping Safari. This is at Zoo Atlanta from 10 p.m. to 1:30 in the morning now. So you probably walking around the zoo, you know what I'm saying? You sipping your drink, enjoying yourself, Don't tease the lions. Just keep it moving. Don't tease them lions and tigers and bears. There ain't no bears over there, but you know what I'm saying? So again, Sipping Safari. That's going on tonight, 10 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. That sounds like something dope, man. Check that out. Then we got Buckhead Fine Arts Festival. That's going on today and tomorrow. Buckhead Fine Arts Festival. Google that. Get all the details. And that's what's going on in the city. So you got Atlanta R&B Food and Wine Festival, Old Fourth Ward, Sipping Safari at Zoo Atlanta, 10 p.m. to 1:30 in the morning this morning. That's going to be hard. Then Buckhead Fine Arts Festival, today and tomorrow. If it's in Buckhead and it's saying Fine Arts Festival, bring your card. They ain't playing over there with them prices, I'm telling you. All right? So that's for Crucial Corner, man. Just want to make sure got that out there to y'all, man. Want to end the show by just saying, stay on top of what's going on around you. Be aware of your surroundings. I tell my kids that I still tell them that now. But now, as an adult, whenever we say be aware of your surroundings, know what's going on with your community, with where you live, and things of that nature. Be aware of your surroundings on that point. So, in the show, I just want to make sure y'all continue to be great and continue to be creative. See y'all at the top next week. Peace.